This is a video that I've been meaning to do for a very long time. I just want to point out that this video will be unscripted, so don't expect this to be high quality or anything. I may do a reshoot of this whole thing at some point in the future when I, have more time. But right now, you're just gonna have to bear with me. So, sorry it took me so long to finally get this out, but here it is. Alright, so let's get the ones that I've already showcased out of the way. So, this is Donkey Kong. This right here is the first retro tabletop that I ever owned. And this is one of the ones that I've been wanting the most. And, yeah, I still have not replaced that top sticker. But whatever. One thing I've always noticed is that, a good amount of these, stickers have, got this weird black stuff going on. I have noticed that, every single one I have has this. Which tells me that this is a common thing with these. There's the game. It's not one by one with the arcade version for obvious reasons. I mean, this was released in the early 80s, so give it a break. And it plays pretty similarly to the arcade version. Yep. Okay, walked right into a barrel. This is Q*bert, and this is the one that I got after I got Donkey Kong. You can see the cabinet isn't as it's not as faithful as the original arcade. I mean, you got some of the artwork. One thing I failed to mention in the last video regarding this is this sticker here is actually the same as the arcade, so that's actually pretty cool. And another really cool thing about this one in particular is that this one has a mute switch. So if you flick this, the game starts with no sound. So that's a clever idea. Why didn't Coleco do this? I've heard so many stories of people who have modded their Coleco tabletops and added like a volume dial or switch to turn off the sound. Now, okay, I'm gonna restart it, but with sound, so you can hear it. Okay, so the sound isn't as impressive as Donkey Kong. Like, there's no music, or there's no jingles or anything like that. But gameplay-wise, I'd say this is actually more accurate than, Donkey Kong was. Oh, I got hit. Alright, cleared all the squares. So, if you've played Q*bert, you know the object of the game already. It's basically the same game. Oh, alright, I got hit again. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so the next one is Galaxian, and wait a minute. What's this? Yes, folks, this one came complete in the box. That is pretty badass. That is cool, but unfortunately, wah wah. The last person who owned this tore this side off. Oh my god, the top is gone too. So I'm guessing that the last person who owned this must have been a kid who, got really excited to play this, so they started tearing the box open. I'm not even mad about that. That's such a relatable thing. So yeah, here you can see, this is a styrofoam, you can see, and there's the tabletop in there. So let's open this puppy up. Okay, so before I play the actual tabletop, here's the manual. So yeah, like I said, this thing literally came complete in the box, so absolutely everything is included. There's nothing too crazy about this manual. Pretty much it'll tell you how to assemble it, put the batteries in, gameplay steps and all that. Nothing too crazy, It's a pretty short manual, but, you know, pretty cool that it's in here regardless. Alright, so, here's the actual tabletop. And, you know, I must say, this might be the best conditioned one in my collection. Now, unfortunately, some of the, stickers are affected with the weird glue seeping through, or whatever it is that's going on there. But take a look at the marquee and the control panel. They're not affected at all. They look almost brand new. That's pretty crazy. I mean, you can see that there are some scratches, but you know, damn, considering the age, this is pretty darn good. It's still still pretty glossy. Yeah, pretty darn cool. Okay, so now this is where things get really interesting. So here they've introduced new game modes. So yes, this is still Galaxian, but it actually added some new stuff to it. So first, let's power it on. Something ain't right here. And yeah, there goes my point of this being the best conditioned one in my collection. Okay, so I actually forgot to mention that this one has a weird issue where if the batteries are in a certain position, the darn thing just doesn't start. So I have to, like, you know, jiggle them around a little bit to get this thing to work. But it should work now, so let's take a look. Ah, there we go. And you may have noticed that there's a startup sound with this one. That's a first. The other ones I've covered so far don't have that. And this one actually seems to have a proper auto demo. You know, like the real arcade game. So yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. And this is where they started to go crazy with the controls. So as you can see, there are now 2 joysticks and 2 buttons. This has a unique 2-player mode, where I believe 2 people play at the same time. I'm not going to try that here because I would need both hands to do that, and I don't have both of my hands free, although my camera with one of them. But the player 1, I can probably do that. Let's just try this out. That tune sounds made up. And look at that. Okay, yeah, plays like the arcade game. What can I say? Oh, I got hit. Nah, you're not gonna get me this time. Yeah, I did it. I actually forgot to mention that there's a second game mode. It's called Midway's Attackers, and it's basically Space Invaders. Here, check this out. See, look, it even has the boom, 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 boom. Oh, look, there's the UFO. Yeah, this is basically Space Invaders. Yeah, I'm not very good at this, but... Game over already. But yeah, you get the point. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. This is Pac-Man. This right here is the one that I've wanted the most next to Donkey Kong. Thing is, I have a huge obsession with anything Pac-Man related. So here's the artwork. Looks pretty accurate to the arcade for the most part. They actually did take some liberties with this one. The original artwork is there. It's just the whole thing's kind of rearranged. It does look good though, so you know, it's not a big deal. And I noticed that with this one, they went with an all-black plastic instead of making it, you know, yellow. But again, it does look good, so it's fine. Now, if we look down at the control panel, we can see that, once again, we got 2 joysticks. But interestingly, no buttons. To start the game, you have these different modes, and you just move the joystick in the direction of the mode you want to play. So, well, first of all, let's turn this thing on, see what it looks like. Okay, so we have the maze, and the layout seems to be the same as the arcade version. Okay, so you can see that it's doing nothing right now. It's kind of strange because Galaxian had its own auto demo, but I guess this one doesn't. But it does have a demo mode of some kind. If you push the joystick down, it'll start in a demo mode. So let's do that so we can get a little glimpse of what the game is like. Okay. Wow. That sound. Oh boy, that sound. Wow. I mean, gameplay looks pretty good. It seems to play the way you'd expect it to. One thing I noticed about the goats is that they have like a Pac-Man inside of them to indicate that they're attacking. And you notice that when you get a power pellet, the Pac-Man inside of them disappears to show that they're scared of you and that they're vulnerable. That's so weird. But I like it, and it's so strange. Yeah, alright, so let's try eat and run. Let's see what that's about. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay, so I guess the whole point is to bring the power pellets back to the center of the screen. Okay, let's restart that, and I'm gonna try to play in regular mode. You know, the original game. What? Oh, I got boxed in. Oh, that happens so much, regardless of what version I play. Ah, darn it. Ah, darn. Okay. Aw. Alright, well, I lost. Okay, so there really isn't much else to say. Yeah, I guess that's Pac-Man. Let's take a look at the last one we have for today. This is Miss Pac-Man. In my opinion, this is the best looking one. I really like how this one looks. It is awesome. Now, I'm not gonna go too depth into this, because it's pretty similar to the Pac-Man that I just played. One notable thing though is that they seem to have swapped the joysticks, so player 1 is now on the right and player 2 is now on the left. Yeah, that is weird. I don't know why they did that. I thought it was perfectly fine the way they did it with Pac-Man. And they also took out the eat and run mode. Alright, so that's a little bit of a downgrade in my opinion. But you know, the game itself is it does make up for it for, you know, being Miss Pac-Man. So, you know, it has more mazes and all that. Anyway, let's check out the demo. Okay. Again, seems to play the way you'd expect. And just like Pac-Man, it has the weird thing where there's Pac-Men inside the ghosts. I don't know what's up with that. It's such a strange design choice. Oh, I see. So the fruit is like bouncing across the stage. That's what that is. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's pretty much what I expected. You know, it's Miss Pac-Man.